This next Tellervo tutorial is going to show you some of the data manipulation tools within the software. So let's start out by opening up an existing series from our database. So I'm going to start off by showing you the truncate tool. So as I'm sure you're aware, sometimes you decide that either the beginning or the end, or both the beginning and the end of a sequence is unreliable for whatever reasons, and it's desirable to sort of chop off some of this information, so so that it doesn't interfere with your later analyses. Now we can do that using the tools menu. So if you go to Tools, Truncate, it brings us up with this truncate dialog. So we have a number of options. We can either just specify how many years we want to truncate in this box here. I'll say here we are chopping off the first 15 years. We can also just specify exactly which years we want to keep. So if we know that the last year we want to keep is 1200, there we are. We can chop it off like that, or we can alternatively use these slider bars here as well. So you can see on the left hand side we have the data showing, and it shows you as you move and change the amount of truncated data, it shows you exactly which of the years we're keeping and which ones we're getting rid of. So once you decided that you're happy with which data you want to get rid of, you can then go ahead and enter a justification for why you're doing this. So I should just write test in here for now, but you can fill in here a description of exactly why you're doing this to help people that come after you understand why you've done this. And we use this a simple form of versioning inside Tellervo. So instead of just taking the original dataset, deleting off the data and then saving over the top, what we do is we save a copy with a version number on it, so that if in the future we decide, actually no, I'm not really sure that truncating was a good idea, we can still go back to the original data. So you see here I'm going to save this series as version 2 with a justification of test. So there we are. So now we have basically the same data set, this time with the front truncated off it. So that's the truncate tool. Another really handy tool, of course, is indexing, which is a lot of people are very keen to do on their data. So the indexing within Tellervo is very visual, so we try to make it as visual as possible for people. What you see here on the left hand side is these three lines show, the blue one shows our original data set, the green line shows you the indexing algorithm that we're applying to the data set, and the red line shows you the result of the calculation, the result of the index being carried out on the original data. So you can see we have various different indexing algorithms, from your standard polynomials to exponentials. We have a floating point, we have a high pass, cubic spline, all these sort of things. So you can very quickly and easily see the effect of choosing these particular these different indexing algorithms on our data, and you can make an informed choice, especially with the stats information. So again, here we have when we apply this index, we're not deleting the original data. We're using this versioning concept within Tellervo to make sure we have this sort of method of going back to our original raw data from our sort of processed data. So again, for instance, I wanted to run an exponential index on this. We can then give it a version number, click OK, and that saves a separate copy of the data into the database. The third data manipulation tool I wanted to show you is the redate function. So obviously redating is a very important part of working with your data. So as you can see here, this original dataset I've brought in is actually relatively dated, so it's just going through it from an arbitrary year 1001 onwards. So assuming that this is a core taken from a living tree, we know when this sample was taken, so we can go ahead and redate this series. Okay, so again, a fairly simple dialog. All we need to do is enter in the new range for this date. So assuming this was collected last year in 2011, we can enter the new date in there, and it automatically gives us the new start date for that series. So another key metadata field we have here in Tellervo is the ability to tag what sort of dating this sample has been given. So taking the example here where I was explaining this as a tree, which is a sample taken from a live tree, we know that this is absolutely dated from the fact that it's a live tree. So we can enter in absolute on the dating, and in the justification, for instance, we can type in live tree and save the file. Again, we have the versioning concept here, so again we are still stuck. We can still go right the way back to the original raw data and the original relative years. As you saw from the dating field, we can also do other things. So you can specify whether it's relatively dated. So if we've got a floating chronology, we can do that. We can also put whether it's been dated with uncertainty. So and also with radiocarbon. So if you've got a floating series which is dated using radiocarbon, you can specify that here as well. So again, once you've chosen your dating field, you enter in your justification, and you can add in your version number. Press OK, and that saves into the system. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to show you. Thank you very much.